What's your take on this arch of triumph that they're setting these portals of entry around this globe? Is there something other than conquering that territory in the name of the deity of the thing you're planting there? Is there some kind of portal connection here with portals and entry points? What's your speculation? I know you can't really say for sure, but
I think they're targets. I do think that they are targets for these entities to be distributed. If we look at this from the standpoint of a computer that is aiding and abetting to the opening of this portal, and that, as I have said, digital information and digitized DNA, more specifically, will come through that portal, then we can look at it in a digital distribution network.
yes.
And that these gateways represent computer nodes, computational nodes, in which the distribution of this DNA, digitized DNA, and these spiritual entities coming through will then be distributed around the planet. There will be over 1,000 of these archways placed around the world.
These are nodes. You're looking at them as some kind of digitized transfer pathway for demonic entities once the highways kind of open up, and it's a distribution network of some sort.
I really do, and I'm going to tell you where I leaped that off from, and that is from the Sentient World Simulation, SWS. SWS exists. This is a mirror of our reality. There is a complete virtual reality model of the entire planet within the adiabatic quantum computer systems. Every person on the planet is represented as a node. That's their own language.
Wow. I didn't know that.
There are over 7 billion nodes
Wow.
that are real-time tracked around the planet in this sentient world simulation, which is an artificially intelligent run system which D-Wave's computers operate. And this is a project that was first proposed in 2006 out of Purdue University. I have their draft document. They, in 2007, made a public announcement that they were going live with the sentient world simulation. Sentient meaning self-aware, obviously artificially intelligent. Again, this is a way for, one, the artificially intelligent computer can self-learn about human behavior. This is a psychological operation, meaning that they are able to predict human behavior, and therefore they can advance their agenda ahead of the reaction time by the world's population. When we look at things like the Mandela effect is a psyops. When we look at things like 128, that represents the number of qubits rather than transistors, qubits that operate this computer. First one was sold to USC and Lockheed Martin as a joint project at USC for a quantum computer lab, and the name of that computer they have assigned to it is called Rainier, like Mount Rainier. The second model was the 512, and that was called Chimera. Then D-Wave 2 came out last year, which is also a 512, and it is called Vesuvius. And that particular model, the Vesuvius, went to the Quantum Artificial Intelligence Lab at NASA's Advanced Supercomputing Division of Ames Research Center, and it is used for research into machine learning or artificial intelligence. There's also a Vesuvius in Utah. They have a massive data center there, and one of the 512s, the D2 model 512 Vesuvius, is in Utah. The third model came out February of last year in 2015, called a 1024, and that went to Google. Now, this is all public information. That 1024 was actually operating on a chip, if you will, on an assembly that held not 1024 qubits, but actually 2048 qubits. And half of that, let's call it a chip, it only operated half of that chip at the 1024 level. Now, that 1024 is artificially intelligent, and it is equivalent It is equivalent to the processing power of over 7 billion human brains. Each human brain processes at any given moment about 1 petaflop of data. A petaflop. So, they then moved from the 1024 to the 2048. Now, the 2048, I'll relate to Shor's algorithm in a moment, but they have not publicly disclosed the model 2048. That is the model that is connected to CERN. That is the model that will be initially operating to open the portal, but it is not the only model. There's a second model, the 4096, which will actually be responsible for the opening of the portal in conjunction with the 2048. So it'll actually be 2 computers.
Own system when it goes online, that we all become nodes or receivers of some sort?
Yeah, I think you're right on the mark with that, because that's a purposeful pun. The mark. This is the mark. Yeah, this is the mark of the beast system. Now, we have free will. We'll start with that. We have the choice to either accept the mark or reject it. If we accept it, it means that the nanoparticles that are within all of our bodies right now that are in a dormant state, we have said, we've given permission for the activation of those nanoparticles. And they are going to change our DNA. This is a conversation we've had before. Going to change our DNA, and therefore also change the way that our minds operate. People will lose their awareness that they have even been changed when this happens.
Wow.